Hey guys, welcome to the Eczema Podcast and welcome to today's episode. Today is one of my most exciting episodes that I've ever filmed, and that's because I have a really great guest on the show who shared a lot of exciting things that I really learned a lot about, and they are Joovv. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but if you've ever heard about all of the rage about red light therapy, then Juve was actually the first to start creating these devices for you to use at home. There are a lot of people who endorse it, like a lot of health professionals like Dr. Axe, Ben Greenfield, Dr. Mercola. So there are a lot of big names that have really been supporting this, and that's why I was really interested in interviewing the founders. A lot of people use it for anti-aging or muscle recovery or helping with wrinkles or to boost collagen. But I don't think that many people know that it actually started because the founder was using it to help her eczema get better. And I'm just so excited for her to share her story about how it got started. If you are interested in checking out more about Juve, I have posted the link to their page and their shop page in the description so you can check it out there. And I also want to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by my Conqueror Dry Skin Soothing Balm and my bath soak as well, both of which I use during my flare-ups and my hardest times, and it is what I still use on a regular basis. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can head to my website, eczemaconquerors.com, and I have a lot of information there for you on articles to help your skin. And there's also the shop page to my Conqueror skin products there as well. If you'd also like to continue to follow my eczema journey and my healing journey and see my before and after photos, you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Eczema Conquerors. That's Eczema Conquerors with an S. And you can also join my free Facebook group online, and that's just a free community for you to ask questions and also meet other people who are going through it and also read what other people have posted too. I look forward to seeing you there, and you can always connect with me online. So let's start with today's podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Eczema Podcast, where you'll learn tips, products, and natural eczema remedies from Abby, registered holistic nutritionist and founder of eczemaconquerors.com. Stay tuned as she invites experts in the field. Here's your host of the Eczema Podcast, Abby.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Eczema Podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest for you. Her name is Melissa Strand, and she is the founder of Juve, and they are really well known for making red light therapy devices. You might have seen them on the market a lot. A lot of people on Instagram have been showing pictures a lot that they're using it, and I think that Dr. Axe has also been using it too, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so they have a lot of great people who are using their device. So I just want to introduce Melissa to you and just say welcome to the show, and thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I would love to know, how did you guys get started? Because I know that you had a story about using using the product to help with your eczema. So yeah, I want to know more about how you got there, and also, what made you guys decide to start this device?
Sure. Well, it was back in 2014, and we were living in Minnesota at the time, and it was in the middle of winter, and I was experiencing some pretty annoying eczema in my armpits, which was not allowing me to wear any deodorant. It would burn really bad, and so it was just a very frustrating situation, as you can imagine. And I had tried a lot of different things to clear it up, ointments, different things like that, and it just was not clearing. So I was considering maybe doing some tanning, just because I know, UV can sometimes help. And I just felt I miss the warm sun. And so I was looking into a tanning package at a local tanning salon and noticed that they had a therapy called red light therapy, and that unlike tanning, it was actually really good for your skin and could actually provide anti-aging benefits. And I thought, I should try that, because if it provides the anti-aging benefits, maybe it will also provide some relief for my eczema. And so I just went mostly just for that warmth feeling of the sun in the winter. I really didn't know what I was going to be getting myself into. I had never heard of the therapy before, but I made a commitment to go at least 5 times a week. And the treatments were 15 minutes long. And within 6 weeks of doing this therapy, the eczema completely cleared from my armpits. And not only that, but I started to notice like my skin had a glow. Stretch marks that I'd had since my oldest was born, they were kind of smoothing out. And a big thing for me was when I went back and visited my mom in Iowa, and she was like, "What have you been doing?" She's like, "Your skin's got this glow to it." And I thought, okay, so she's noticing this too. And I knew like, okay, what's going on the inside of my body if I'm getting these kind of benefits on the outside? So I started to look into trying to purchase a device for my home because my oldest son also was dealing with some eczema. And it was a pretty big time commitment to drive to the salon 5 times a week. I'm a busy mom of 6 children. And so I didn't have the time to keep going. And when I got online, all I could find was small little squares, that might treat like a small section or maybe your face. And I had been laying in a full red light bed. And I was like, this is not going to work for me. I need like the full body treatments. And so I kind of gave up on the therapy for a while just because I just couldn't make it to the salon repeatedly. And then later that fall, I ran across light therapy again in a healing protocol. I was dealing with some gut issues, and this doctor brought that up as that was one of the things that was really important to do. And I was like, oh, that's that therapy I was doing. And so he had some ideas for maybe trying to make one at home using heat lamps that had the red coating on them. And so I started talking to my husband and saying, can we like go to Lowe's? Can we buy these heat lamps? Can we do this? Can we make one? And he was like, I don't know, it seems kind of hokey, but I kept on him about it. And so we finally went and we bought the heat lamps. We screwed them into the Brooder bulb lamp things that we could clip to a board. And I was so excited because I was like, I've got my own like setup at home now. And within like a week or two of doing the therapy, I was like, okay, this does not feel like the salon I was going to. I really like it, but it felt more like a sauna because of all the heat that was coming off of the bulbs. Plus, you kind of had to be very careful not to burn yourself on them and things like that. And so while I liked it, I wasn't getting the same benefits that I had been getting from the salon. And so my husband and I started looking into it deeper and realized it's all about the wavelengths of light. And that was kind of interesting. Then my husband finally got more interested in it because we started seeing that there was like literally hundreds and hundreds of clinical studies done for different types of ailments that this light helped. And we read how NASA was the one that first funded research on light therapy to keep astronauts safe and healthy in space. And so my husband's an engineer, and that finally seeing like the scientific research behind it, he was like, okay, I'm going to get on board with this with you. And I was just like, do you think we can try to make one that was more like the salon for our home? Because we had a fairly small home. We didn't have room to put a full-on tanning bed in our home. And so researching what wavelengths were powerful, and we made a device that we could hang on a door in our home. And that's where we were just going to kind of keep it like just for us. And then my brother-in-law has been in medical sales his whole career. And he was like, I could help you guys start to market this if you'd like. And we were like, oh, do you think anybody would want to buy this? I mean, we did it for us. And so we kind of was like, okay, let's give it a try and see what happens. And it just like exploded from there, and something we were just not looking for. So it's been pretty cool.
That is so amazing. I love your story. And I just love that, you you came up with this idea because you were suffering from eczema and you wanted to make it easier and more convenient for people. And so you came up with this device. And I think, that is just something so wonderful, especially being a mom of, you mentioned 6 children.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to let you know that's something that you should be really proud of, because I'm just seeing so many people use the device, not only for just their face, but their whole body. And it seems like it's becoming a ritual and a routine for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, it's been really cool. And like I said, something we were not expecting at all. So,
and I'm also seeing a lot of other devices similar to it come out now. So are there other devices that are, I guess, in a way, can we call it copying or copycat devices?
Yeah. Actually, after we launched the Juve, there's been multiple companies now that have popped up here and there because obviously there was a need for this, and people are seeing results, and so it's becoming more and more of a popular therapy, I would say.
I also have read something about that your device, I think something about EMF, it's safer compared to other devices, or that when we're looking at red light devices, we need to watch out for the EMF rays and things like that. So is there something about that it makes your device different from other devices?
Well, we really wanted to keep that in mind when designing our devices, just because our oldest son is extremely sensitive to EMFs. And so for like the standard of comparing it to like other, like a hair dryer and things like that, it's remarkably low. We also suggest that people treat at a distance of at least 4 to 6 inches, because the EMF falls away quite a bit at that standard. And if anyone is interested in learning more, we have a pretty cool article on our website just comparing our device to other devices that also let off EMF that you use daily in your home, and just comparing how low it is compared to those.
I love that you took that into account because I think I recently read a study somewhere that suggested that the EMF rays might actually be affecting the eczema as well. So I think that it's really wonderful that you took that into account.
Yeah, it can cause like an inflammation load on the body. And so just trying to, keep it at a lower level, it is helpful for sure.
And is there anything else that makes your device different from other devices out there?
I think we have a really cool article on our website about this too, but when looking for a red light therapy device, you really want to look for what wavelengths they're using. We use wavelengths in the mid 600 nanometer range and in the mid 800 nanometer range. Those have the most clinical studies behind them. So you want to look for that. And I think our biggest thing is treatment size, because clinical studies show the more of your cells that you can expose to this light, the more helpful it will be. And that's why we wanted to create different sizes. And our devices are modular, so you can start with a small unit and then you can add on to your device over time, so that you can get a very effective treatment in a short amount of time, because people are just busy and they're too busy to stand in front of a light for like 40 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so true. So do you still have to use, do you and your son still have to use the red light therapy continuously to manage your eczema, or because you did it a lot before with the red light therapy that your eczema is in a good place right now?
Yeah, mine has not returned back, and neither has his. We do a lot of other things to be healthy as well. We are big believers in grounding, getting outside as much as you can barefoot, and just soaking up the antioxidants and the energy that we can get just from connecting with the earth. We block blue light at night. We try to eat a very healthy diet. So we've got a lot of things that we do. But what red light therapy does is it goes in and it stimulates your mitochondria. The mitochondria are the powerhouse of each cell, and we've got, thousands of cells all over our body. And so when we come in contact with environmental stressors, toxins, maybe just a hard, stressful week, a hard situation here or there, whatever it might be, that can inhibit the cellular respiration going on in our cells, and it can inhibit our body's ability to create ATP. And when that happens, then in the fourth phase of cellular respiration, nitric oxide can bind with cytochrome C oxidase. And when that bond occurs, ATP production is greatly inhibited. And that's where red light therapy comes in, because it breaks that bond, helping to restore natural, healthy cellular function, boosting our body's ATP production back up to where it should be. And for some people, maybe higher than it's ever been. And then with that healthy cellular function restored, the body's inflammation goes way down. The collagen production boosts in the body, and just so many other healthy things. And so that's how the therapy works. So once you can get your body functioning, maybe at a higher level than it was able to, like lots of healthy things can happen along with an eczema, clearing. And so we continue to use the therapy, especially in the winter months when we aren't able to get out in the sunlight as much. But what was so cool to learn from this whole journey is our bodies were made to run on light. If you think back to like hundreds of years ago, people spent most of their days outside in the sun, working outside. There was no electricity and artificial lighting. And so they were receiving the amount of natural light that they should be getting. And so in doing that, their cells were being fed and were being nourished, and we didn't see as much of like the eczema and the different things that people are dealing with today. But in today's world, it's really hard to, who can spend 8 hours a day outside even? Like, we've got to get up, we've got to go to our jobs, kids got to go to school. And so that's where the red light therapy is just very helpful, because it can deliver a very high dosage of light to your cells in a short amount of time, helping to kind of restore that natural order that was supposed to be there that people experienced, hundreds of years ago, spending all that time outdoors.
So does your light also help with seasonal affective disorder during the winter when there's less sun?
Yeah, yep, it does. And there's actually some really cool clinical studies on that.
Wow, that's amazing. So it not only helps with eczema, anti-aging, but also depression and mitochondria. And I think that that's so great that it helps so many things. Do you have instructions if someone was to start using the red light therapy for their eczema? How would you recommend them to start using the device?
Yeah, that's a really great question. We recommend starting slow, maybe just 1 to 2 minutes per day, and then working up, over the course of 3 to 4 weeks, working up to a 10-minute session per treatment area. Just because for some people, starting out all at once can cause a little bit of a detox reaction, just because their body is not used to so much light all at once. But generally speaking, when people start out slow, just that 1 to 2 minutes a day and work up slowly, they can avoid any kind of detox reaction. And most people tell us it's just like the first thing they notice in using the light is they feel so relaxed. Just a relaxing feeling. Their sleep gets deeper, better. And they're like, I didn't even know I wasn't sleeping good. And I'm like waking up and I'm like, wow, I didn't know this could happen. So
that's so great. So eventually they would do about 10 minutes a day, every day, I guess, on a regular basis.
Yep. 10 minutes per treatment area. So, depending on what size device you're using, we have all, different sizes. It would be 10 minutes directly where that light is hitting. And so some people, maybe if they're treating with a smaller device, they might want to move it around and do a few 10-minute treatments on different areas of their body.
That's great to hear. So, are there also any other differences between, I guess, I've heard a lot about red light therapy, but how does that differ from phototherapy as well, which has some potential side effects?
In saying phototherapy, are you meaning therapy that also has like the UV?
Yeah, the
base?
UVA.
Yeah. Okay.
UV.
Yeah, sure. So that's another really great question. The UV, like you said, and the UVB, you have to be very careful because over exposing your skin to that, your skin may burn. And that was an interesting thing that we learned, was that the wavelengths are different throughout the day when you're outside. And the wavelengths in the early and mid-morning sun have a lot of the red and near infrared light in them, and they actually prepare your skin to be better protected against the UV. So while, going out in the sun, it's still a good idea to use sun protection and everything. Using the Joovv device or another red light therapy device daily can actually help your skin be better protected when you are in those UV and UVB wavelengths.
That's really great to hear. So for you guys, has your product been used by doctors who are treating people with eczema?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it has. I'm not aware of any particular doctor at this point. I do know that we are starting to do clinical studies with our devices, working with several different physicians. And so I'm sure, that will come up, that we will do that as well. Yeah.
That's really great to hear.
But there is some really cool clinical studies that, I can even send you that you could link up in your show notes, but there is some on PubMed with other devices. So they show really, really cool results. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any studies at the top of your mind that are just really interesting to share? I know I'm just putting you on the spot, so you might not remember, and that's okay.
No, that's fine. I know I actually, we have a really cool article on photobiomodulation, which is the clinical term for red light therapy. And in eczema, we have a really cool article on our website about that. And in that article, there is a study that was done with 81 participants over the course of a year. And they were just, I believe, I'd have to go back and check, but I believe they were just doing very minimal treatments per week. So nothing, even like what we would recommend. And they noticed that the redness went down on their eczema spots, that the inflammation went down. And just overall, the itching was was greatly relieved. And so that's one cool study that was like, wow, they weren't even treating for very long. And it just shows the power of light and how our bodies were made to take in way more light than we generally get.
That's great. Is there any differences between your device and the ones that you mentioned you were going to in the tanning salons?
In the tanning salon, I was using a converted tanning bed. So they were using fluorescent bulbs that were basically had like a rubber cover, red coating over them. And so those devices, it's a lot harder for them to control what wavelengths are being used. And the intensity was a lot less than what our devices are. So the treatment time for something like that is higher, but I still had good results from that. So
that's good to hear. I know that a lot of people are just starting to look into this more. And I have heard of someone who has gotten better from it in the eczema community, but I'm just so curious to hear how it'll go when more people with eczema use it, because it doesn't seem like that I know a lot of people who have used it yet. So I'm just really curious to see how it will go when more people are able to get a hold of this.
Yeah, and it's like, I can never guarantee, people will say, hey, if I buy this for my eczema, is it going, how long is it going to take? And I can never guarantee results to anyone, because basically what the light is doing is it's going in and it's feeding your cells and helping your cells to function at a higher level. And then our bodies are really cool because they know what to do when they're given the proper nutrition and the proper everything they need for healing. And so your body might start working on something else that, is another issue inside that you aren't even aware of. And it might say, hey, yes, we need to heal the eczema, but there's something, even more important we need to work on. We need to work on this kidney or something like that. And it'll take that energy and it'll put it into healing that versus, healing up the eczema right away. And then someone might find, oh, I think my eczema was like my body's reaction to that. And I didn't even, you know what I mean? So it's like, I can't ever guarantee will this help me? How long will it help me? All I can say is I know it's been clinically proven to be extremely good for your cells. And I believe in the therapy enough that, even if I would have needed to do it for a year before seeing, everything clear up, I would have kept going with it just because once I've done all the research into it and I see how powerful it is, I wouldn't quit eating healthy, nutritious food every day. I'm gonna keep doing that because my body needs that to run. And since I've learned how important light is and that our body really needs that to run at a optimal level, it's like I'm gonna get that light in every day, even if I can't see the results right away. So
that makes sense. Have you heard of people using it for, let's say their eczema actually stems from a gut issue or leaky gut. So if people shine the light on their gut, even though there's no eczema there, have you heard stories of people seeing results from that?
Yeah, there's actually some really cool clinical studies on PubMed that they're now considering light therapy to be a form of antifungal because by the studies they've done on, the bad gut bacteria and the effect that the light has on them is incredible. And so I definitely recommend if someone reaches out and they're like, I have one of your smaller devices, I'm wanting to use it for eczema. We definitely recommend, yes, treat your gut too, because like you said, there's definitely a connection there for some people.
That's so fascinating. I actually haven't heard about that before, even in terms of phototherapy, because they only treat the spot that has issues. So that's just very fascinating to hear that you can treat different organs of your body that are weak and it can actually strengthen it.
Yeah, because, our bodies, and that's something within Western medicine, they look at one symptom and then at that part of your body. But in functional medicine, it's all more about your body and your system as a whole. And so strengthening your immune system, strengthening yourself at a cellular level, it's going to have an effect on your entire body.
I've also looked at a couple of the posts from your company, and I saw some clinical studies where it also mentioned that it helps with anti-aging, and people saw a decrease in the wrinkles as well.
Yep, yeah, and that's all due to boosting that ATP production. Because when ATP production is boosted in the body and at a more natural rate, it lowers your body's oxidative stress. And so oxidative stress is what causes the body to age and to age prematurely. And so when you are restoring that healthy level of ATP production and the oxidative stress of your body is lowering, then your body can get to work at making and producing more collagen. And then an effect of that is you're going to get, your skin cells start turning over faster, shedding, the old, and you'll see a reduction in wrinkles.
Wow, that's really great. And one question I know I'm going to get a lot is, I know I have a lot of parents with children and babies who listen to this podcast. So is it safe for babies to use the device and also for pregnant women?
Yep, that's a good question. So, there has been no studies done on pregnant women using the device. I did see that they are doing some preliminary studies on what red and near infrared light therapy would be like to be used on a woman in labor for pain relief, which I thought was really cool. But what we recommend is for people to look into the science behind it and just to check with their doctor if they're pregnant, just to clear with their physician to make sure that's okay. And we do the same thing for young children. I have children from age 20 all the way down to age 6. They use the light on a regular basis. But we just always recommend, check with your healthcare provider and see, is that something they would recommend, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, that's always a great tip, I think, especially with any device or any product, because we just don't know. So I think it's safest to check with your physician.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to leave with our listeners? Maybe any last words of advice or tips for people who are interested in using it or just want to learn more about red light therapy in general?
Yeah, we have a very great learn section on our website. We have articles on so many different things, from increased cognitive production, better sleep, a healthier thyroid, increased testosterone for men, balancing hormones for women. So if anyone is interested in learning more, I would definitely recommend checking out that Learn section. Our articles are all linked to clinical studies, but they are not like overly difficult to understand. We also have hundreds and hundreds of reviews on our website from real life users and their experience and what they saw. And so I always recommend for people to check those out and read through, other people's experiences. Our website is joovv.com, joovv.com. And so, yeah. And also we've got like a very friendly customer service team and a live chat team, always ready to answer questions. And so, we never mind people reaching out, just saying, hey, point me in this direction. I want to learn more about this. So we love to educate people.
Thank you for that information. And I wanted to ask, is it better to use the Juve at night or in the morning?
That's a really great question too. And the cool thing about light therapy, as I mentioned, our body kind of knows what to do with that energy. And so when you use the light in the morning, it actually helps to stimulate your energy, get you going for the day. And when used at night, people actually will tell us that they feel like it really puts them in a very calm state, ready for bed. And so I usually tell people, I would test using it in the morning, using it at night, and see what feels best for your body. What do you enjoy? We have a lot of users that choose to treat in the morning and evening just because they find it so relaxing.
And what happens if someone decides to use it for, say, 20 to 30 minutes a day instead of 10 minutes a day? Are there any negative side effects to it, or will it just help?
No, there's really no negative side effects. Our cells can only take in so much light at once. So after about 15 to 20 minutes of use, while it won't hurt you, you're not going to really gain any extra benefits because your cells need time to process the light.
That's very interesting, actually. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is that for the listeners is that eczema is tied to so many things. It can be tied to, inflammation, blood sugar issues, thyroid, and it's just so neat that you even mentioned that it can help with thyroid.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm just interested in that because I didn't realize that it could help so many organs of the body.
Yeah, and basically why it does is because over our entire body, we have cells, and all those cells have mitochondria. And so if in anywhere on your body, those cells are struggling to create that ATP and the light comes in and restores the healthy cellular function, you're going to see a very big health benefit for that area. So that's why we recommend to people, as much as you can, treat full body, because you don't even know, your thyroid may be sluggish, and while it's not something that you've been to the doctor for, you don't even know the increased energy or better hormone production you could be having. And that's where people will tell us, I didn't even know I could sleep this good. It just was normal for me. And so, yeah, it's really cool, the benefits. People will say, hey, I started using this because I wanted the anti-aging benefits, but now I notice I'm sleeping better. I have way higher energy. And I find when I need to be concentrating at work, I can even concentrate better. And it's like they're amazed. And it's like, no, that's just what light can do for the body. And when you support all those cells.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Have you had people with cancer use your product?
There is some interesting research, and the preliminary research shows that it would be very good for cancer because, like I said, the body knows what to do to restore health when it's given the right ingredients to do that. But we always recommend, check the research that's out there, but also check with your doctor just because, everybody's body is so different. But there is some really cool studies out there on people, especially children that experience the oral mucositis sores in their mouth that come as a side effect of chemotherapy. And they actually use a little red light wand that the children will put in their mouth to treat those sores. And they experience a lot of pain help from that. And also there's some cool studies on women that have had breast cancer and how just using the light, it helps bring their pain and inflammation way down when going through treatments. So the preliminary studies out there are pretty cool.
That's very cool. I haven't seen the wand on your site. I'm guessing you guys don't have the wand, right?
No, we don't have a wand like that at this point. I think that's it has been used in medical settings, and I'm not sure what device they've used. But yeah, I know that there's also some face masks that they've used. Basically, just any way they can shine the light on the mouth. Yeah. So technically, our device could also work because you could shine it, on your face.
Actually, now that you mention it, I remember people using it at facials. There's like the facial masks where it's just the red light therapy, and yours, I'm guessing, would have the same effect if they're shining on the face.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, that's very fascinating. I have learned a lot from our talk today, and I've just found everything you mentioned to be, very fascinating. Just because I haven't really come across many devices that have been able to help so many parts of the body, and I just find it to be very unique.
Yeah, and it really is a testament to the power of light, and like I said, how our bodies were made to run with light, and people just aren't able to get it in their system as much as they were used to. So this is a great option to restore that healthy balance of light to the body.
That's great. And before we go, Melissa, it's so wonderful that you created this product because it helped with your skin and your son's skin as well. So what's your background? Because I know that you have so much knowledge about, health and, healthy living from the things that you've mentioned. So did you always have a background in health or?
Honestly, no. I have just been a stay-at-home mom with my kids. And so up until about 2014, I didn't know a lot about this stuff, but I just started doing a lot of research because of my own health challenges I was facing and just wanted to be healthy and to know all the healthy things that I could do for my family as well. And I just found it so fascinating that I just kept researching and digging into the science. And so I'm self-educated along the way, but I'm so thankful for everything I've learned.
That's great. And one last question I will probably be asked a lot is, do you ship around the world? Because I know we have a lot of listeners around the world in Asia and Europe and other parts of the country. Other parts of the world.
Yes, we do ship worldwide.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And if people want to continue to follow Joovv on social media as well, is it Joovv Social on Instagram and Facebook?
Yep, that is correct. Yep.
That is great. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being on the show today. I definitely learned a lot, and I just appreciate your time. I know that our listeners learned a lot as well, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Eczema Podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass it along to your friends. Visit eczemaconquerors.com for more articles and tips. Thanks for listening.